Hey, good Thursday to you. It's time once again for RFD Illinois. I'm DeLoss Yankee.
I'm Rita Frazier. Kind of hats off to a couple of folks in this building. You know, we know Blake Roderick, Pike Scott County, has just been, does he do a wonderful job?
Certainly does.
He sort of sets
no
the bar.
About it.
Because battling the floods, it's not just his farmers, his members in that part of the state, but it's him. And he's done it countless times.
Well, I was going to say, you have that kind of institutional knowledge in there. I mean, it's good to have. It's unfortunate that people have to go through this once, let alone more than once, but
for sure,
certainly a lot of, knowledge in there on how to handle these situations.
For sure. Director of Ag John Sullivan, the governor, and a state crew in a helicopter flying over the flood areas affected, the land impacted, and we'll talk to John Sullivan, Director of Ag. We'll also hear from Rebecca Clark, who is with IEMA. You have to love that, right?
Is that near Neoga?
Iuga, yeah. But Rebecca, of course, on the scene, she's camped out, really, with the Emergency Management Agency, trying to help as much as they can. And Jim Dewey actually talked to Blake Roderick, so that's coming up.
Yeah, Jim Dewey from our affiliate WTAD in Quincy. Now, I previewed this a little bit as well, well, just a couple seconds, but on today's program, you'll have Marty McDonald on, who knows all there is to know about Prevent Plant. So a lot of great information will come out about that later today as well. Plus markets and weather and more, including Congressman Mike Bost on a Thursday, RFD, Illinois.
RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
What's the excitement about buying a brand new car when you pay full price for it? County Farm Bureau members have a reason to be excited. A Farm Bureau membership gives you 2 car purchase discounts. When members buy a new Ford vehicle, they receive $500 off their purchase. And with a purchase of a qualifying Lincoln vehicle, they receive $750 off. Everyone loves a good deal, and the money saved is worth the price of our annual membership. This is just one of our 300,000 plus discounts that are always changing to fit our members' needs. Not a Farm Bureau member? Visit Illinois Farm Bureau online and join today.
Welcome back to RFD Illinois. I'm DeLoss Yankee with comments from 12th District Representative Mike Bost in Southern Illinois, visited yesterday with Rita on RFD today. One was about the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, USMCA. Despite tweets from the president in recent days about tariffs on Mexico, Bost is hopeful for resolution on USMCA. In fact, the clock is already ticking to get things done.
We've got 90 days from last week to process through. My intent is to vote for it. I think it has a tremendous amount of help for our ag industry as well as other industries. I hope that the Speaker calls it fairly quickly. We know that Mexico and Canada are already on board. I know it means a lot to the dairy, especially the northern dairy farmers, with the concern of Canada has basically had some really strict tariffs on all of our dairy products for a long time. This should negotiate to where we can actually compete in that market as well. And then our pork production being sent into Mexico, I think that this is a kind of a quick thing that's threatened with the tariffs that the president's doing right now. We need to get the USMCA passed, with what the other argument is that the president is having with them as far as the immigration. It is my hope that we get through that fairly quickly.
U.S. Congressman Mike Bost from the state's 12th district, who also is working on legislation this year. He's worked on it before as well, about the BALE Act, B-A-L-E, Beginning Agriculturalist Lifetime Employment, ensuring that USDA lending programs better reflect the current costs of whether that's owning, operating, expanding, or diversifying operations throughout the state.
The BALE Act increased the loan guarantee from, when we first started working on, from $750,000 to $2.25 million, because that guarantees that, everybody that's listening here that knows ag knows that 750 wasn't much. We were able to get in the Farm Bill an increase to 1.75, which is good, but that still wasn't that 2.25, and so I'm carrying a bill that's still pushing for that 2.25. You can go through 2.25 million in as a new farmer pretty quickly right now. Everybody understands that with the cost of everything from planters to combines and tractors, not counting overhead as far as storage facilities and things like that. So we're trying to get that through. Hopefully we'll get a positive reaction with that.
U.S. Congressman Mike Boss from the state's 12th district. Now today on RFD Today, Rita will visit with Marty McDonald, the prevent plant expert from Country Financial. So he'll have a lot of great information to share on a very unfortunate topic. D.C. now, and our Washington correspondent Matt Kay, who says USDA's relocation plans for its Economic Research Service, as well as the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, continue to spark controversy in the nation's capital.
Democrats and former USDA officials charge the relocation effort is poorly thought out, doesn't look at costs and benefits, and lacks stakeholder input. House Ag Biotech Chair Stacy Plaskett.
Not only were stakeholders entirely cut out of this process, they were blindsided by the announcement from USDA. And to date, the actual benefits to ag research or an economic analysis of this proposal have not been conveyed. And it was followed by a FY20 budget request, which proposed cutting the number of ERS employees in half. ERS and NIFA are already understaffed, well below their appropriated staffing levels.
But panel ranking Republican Neil Dunn backed Secretary Sonny Perdue's efforts, arguing that D.C. area living costs are keeping talented help away from the nation's capital.
This is a fight that exists only in Washington, D.C., Beltway, and in ivory towers across the country. When I talk to folks back home, most everybody agrees that the farther you are away from Washington, D.C., the better off you are.
The Florida Republican says Democrats want the opposite.
My Democrat colleagues have introduced H.R. 1221, the Agricultural Research Integrity Act of 2019. And while billed as a response to the administration's proposed relocation, this legislation would actually require the Secretary to relocate thousands of personnel to the Washington, D.C. area at enormous expense.
Matt Kay in Washington says USDA has narrowed from 136 areas down to 3, and the St. Louis area has been eliminated as one of those possibilities. Rita has more next on RFD Illinois.
The Illinois economy runs on our homegrown agricultural products. Our dairy, beef, pork, corn, and soybeans grow the agricultural industry by nearly $20 billion each year. But we don't just grow Illinois, we grow North America. Canada and Mexico account for over $45 billion in U.S. agricultural exports, and they support more than 1 million American jobs. Exports to Canada and Mexico matter to everyone in the agriculture and food industries.
A message from Illinois farmers and their checkoff programs.
Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Dina Stroish connects rural routes for you. From the Farm Bill to crop insurance to GMO labeling, her expertise is apparent in the stories she reports. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I get to meet interesting people and share their stories, and I get paid to do it. I cover ag policy and really enjoy keeping the farming community updated on these important issues.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
We're back here on RFD Illinois. I'm Rita Frazier. The flood of 2019. John Sullivan, Director of Agriculture, joined Governor Pritzker and other state officials on Tuesday to fly over the land and areas affected by the flood.
Did get a chance to the governor and Secretary of IDOT and IEMA and State Police and the National Guard chance to view. We actually flew over the Illinois River from basically Scott County down to Grafton. Most of that area, the levees have been protected. They've done a lot of work, and things look pretty good overall, but we did fly over. Well, I think they call it the Nutwood levee that had breached the day before, and so I think they estimated around 11,000 acres of some of the best farmland in the state, as far as producing land. Watching that water go through that levee was pretty disheartening, I got to tell you.
So from the government perspective, with your conversations with the governor, what's the next step for you guys?
The commitment, and the governor's already activated about 200 of the National Guard. He okayed an additional 200 Guard members, knowing and realizing that this flood event it's not going to be here one week and gone the next. This is, they're talking about the Illinois especially being up for, weeks, if not months, that they're going to be concerned with. So it's a long-term disaster. So the commitment was made yesterday by the governor and by all the agencies that we're going to do whatever, provide whatever resources that we have to for the long term and make sure that we can, assist the folks that are out there fighting the floods.
Your message to the farmers out there, the farmland that's impacted by the flood?
I think most importantly is those farmers, if they're out there on the levees and they're trying to protect their levee and their farmland, if they need assistance, if they need help, if they need information, all they have to do is contact the Department of Ag, and we will do everything that we can to help them with the resources that they need.
John Sullivan, Illinois Director of Agriculture. Rebecca Clark is Communications Manager with the Illinois Emergency Management Agency. Rebecca talks about the flood fight, and she says the fight is not over.
So we are starting to see the Mississippi River crest up in the upper Mississippi, the Quincy area. I got a report this morning that one of the key bridges up in the Keokuk area opened today at like 4 a.m. So it's always positive when you hear major lines of transportation reopening. That is always a good sign. So I think we're starting to see where we're going to start to move into a recovery mode in some parts of the upper Mississippi. But that's important because it'll allow us to reevaluate some of our troops, our missions in west central Illinois, like in the Grafton, Hardin, Alton area, and then also start to pre-position downstream in the Randolph, Union County area so that we can prepare for the flood fight that's coming their way as well. So we have had people in our shelters that are open, and might I add, we have shelters identified up and down the river from Quincy all the way down to Cairo. So if anyone needs a help or assistance, please call 1-800-RED Cross for those assistance. But we really have only had a few people who have sought those shelters, but it's better to have them ready and available.
A couple minutes remain here, Rebecca. What didn't I ask that you feel is very pertinent for Illinois residents this week?
One of the things that we're having a real problem with is people that want to go out and look at the levees. It is not safe for people to be out on the levees, walking on those levees, or boating right now. The Illinois River, the Mississippi River, is closed to recreational traffic, and I know everyone is curious and wants to take pictures and see what's going on, but please listen to me when I say it is not safe. We need people to stay away from those levees, stay off the river, because when you're just putting yourself in harm's way, and also our first responders who may need to help come out and assist will be in harm's way as well. So please, we just urge people to stay off those levees and stay off the rivers at this time.
You mentioned the 800 number. Again, for folks who need help or want to help, perhaps, what's the best way to reach out and get more information?
Absolutely. The Red Cross has been a tremendous agency to work with. You can reach them at 1-800-RED-CROSS. They have a 24-hour disaster line. So if let's say you're pregnant and want a sandbag, but you just probably shouldn't be, call the Red Cross. There's other opportunities with meals or supplies or running food from point A to point B. There's always opportunities for someone to help.
Rebecca Clark, Illinois Emergency Management Agency. With the flooding in western Illinois doubling the stress for many farmers in that area, Jim, Jim Dewey in Quincy has the story.
Landowners in the Mississippi and Illinois River valleys have been working since last fall to keep the flooding rivers off of their land. And as fall has turned to winter, then to spring, many of those landowners are facing a double whammy.
You know, one side they're trying to keep the river away from their land. On the other side, they've got crops that they've got to get in the ground.
That's Blake Roderick, manager of the Pike-Scott County Farm Bureau. Roderick notes that in most years, when there is a flood fight like this, farmers have at least gotten their crops planted. Such is not the case this year.
You know, they've been hard against the weather on several different fronts right now. They're working on the levees. They're also seeing that they can't get their crop in the ground, they can't get their farming done, or if they are trying to farm, they're doing it at night. Actually, this is the first week that we've had a good run of warm, sunny weather without any rain. You know, here it's almost 3 days in a row.
Many farmers are using that respite from the rain to at least try to get some corn planted. But Wednesday, June 5th, was the prevent plant deadline in Illinois.
But they are under a lot of stress. You know, that stress is created by not getting the crop in the ground, fighting the flood, a lot of long hours. It's hard work. This is not easy work. This flood fighting that's going on. You got the bugs, you got the sunburn, and then it's that additional stress, not just of not getting your crop in the ground, but the fact that the prices have been impacted by our trade war with China and whomever else you want to add to that trade war.
Sandbagging efforts continue even as both rivers are now receding. As Roderick notes, the danger is not over. I'm Jim Dewey for RFD Illinois.
Thanks, Jim. With that, we'll break for markets and weather.
With the RFD Ag Market Summary for this Thursday morning, I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat all ending Wednesday double-digit lower. July corn closing at 4.14 3/4, down 10 1/2. September corn down 10 1/2. 4.24 1/4. December corn 4.33 1/2, down 10 1/2. July beans closing at 8.69 3/4, down 12. August beans down 12 1/2, 8.76 1/4, and September beans 8.83 3/4, down 12 1/4. July wheat closing at 4.90 3/4, down 16 1/2. September wheat down 17, 4.97 3/4, and December wheat 5.11. Down 17 1/2. July bean meal 317.70, down 3.30. July bean oil 27.22, down 27 cents. In current electronic overnight trading, July corn up 1/2, September corn up 1/4, December corn unchanged 4.33 1/2. July beans in the overnight down 4 3/4. August beans down 4 1/2, and September beans down a nickel, 8.78 3/4. July wheat in the overnight up 6. September wheat up 4 1/2, and December wheat up 3 3/4, 5.14 3/4. In the outside markets, August Brent crude oil down 1.34 a barrel, 60.63. The August gold contract 13.41 even, up 7.40 this morning. In the livestock market from Wednesday, June lean hogs 79.85, down 127. July lean hogs up 47 cents, 86.27. June live cattle up 30 cents, 107.85. August live cattle 104.67, up 62 cents. August feeders 139.45, up $2. September feeders up 182, 139.70. Cash livestock at Greenville Livestock Auction, steers 123 the top. Illinois direct barrels and gilts trading steady on Wednesday, 48 to 54. I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather with the early morning ag weather update on the RFD Radio Network for this Thursday morning. Greatest coverage of rain and thunderstorms gradually spread southward across the Midwest over the past 24 hours. There were some reports of severe weather in central and southern Illinois yesterday and last evening, along with some pockets of locally heavy rainfall. Daytime highs were above normal across most of the Midwest yesterday, with highs in the upper 70s, 80s, and low 90s. The weather system that moved through Illinois the past 24 hours will stall just to the south of the Midwest over the next 2 or 3 days. This will produce widespread rain and thunderstorms to the south of the Midwest through Saturday. There will be chances for scattered showers and thunderstorms during this time across the southern Midwest, including the southern one-third of Illinois, but not all locations will receive major rainfall. Rainfall amounts the next few days in the 1/10 to 3/4 inch range will likely occur across the southern Midwest, with a few heavier in the far south, and again this would include about the southern third of Illinois. Farther north, it looks like a drier trend over the next 2 or 3 days in a large part of the central and northern Midwest, with any rainfall being quite spotty through Friday and Saturday. A new system moving in from the northwest will bring some shower and thunderstorm chances back to the entire region during the second half of the weekend into Monday. Behind this system, some cooler Canadian air moving in from the northwest will drop temperatures down below normal across the region next week, and it does look like that 6 to 10 day temperatures will average below normal across much of the Midwest. Most areas will have 2 or 3 days of dry weather after that Sunday-Monday system, but again, no long dry spells are seen across the Midwest coming up in the near future. 6 to 10 day rainfall amounts should average near to below normal in most areas, with some above in the Ohio Valley. I'm Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather.
Does the warmer weather have you itching for a weekend getaway? Take your Illinois Farm Bureau membership savings with you.
Farm Bureau members can save up to 20% at choice hotels, including favorites like Comfort Suites, Sleep Inn, Quality Inn and Suites, with even more to choose from.
Call 800-258-2847 or visit the Choice Hotels website to search all the hotels at once and to make advance reservations.
Contact your local County Farm Bureau for your discount code number.
Farm, family, food. Those 3 words best describe Illinois Farm Bureau. Farm. For 100 years, Farm Bureau in Illinois has represented and served the men and women who make Illinois one of the top food-producing states. Family. At the heart of rural Illinois are traditional farm families who work together through Illinois Farm Bureau. And food. Farm Bureau families are proud to grow the healthy food they provide their families and yours. Farm, family, food. The heart of Farm Bureau in Illinois.
All Ag.
All Illinois.
All now.
There are a lot of smartphone apps out there, but do they have what's important to us here in Illinois? The Farm Week Now app does, and it's always at your fingertips. All Ag, all Illinois, and 24/7 where and when you need it for free. Go to your app or Play Store on your smartphone, hit search, type in Farm Week Now, that's one word, and download it today. Brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau, where we're all about farm, family, and food.
Are you preparing for planting season? We don't mean to be a pest, but here's a few things you need to know before you grow. The Illinois Department of Agriculture now requires special local needs labels, including new restrictions for the use of herbicide dicamba on top of soybeans in Illinois for the 2019 growing season. Did you know these additional restrictions go beyond federally approved labels? Remember, the label is the law. To find out more about these Illinois-specific labels, visit ilfb.org/label-aware.
That'll do it for RFD Illinois on a Thursday.
Yes, thanks for spending some time with us. Let's salute a community.
I hope there's a sign for this, or two, depending on which side, or, where, crossing the road. But apparently there's an unincorporated community in Richland County called Elbow. ELBOW. Folks down in White Squirrel Country, down in Olney, hopefully they can...
Is that close to the Funny Bone?
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Sponsored by Country Financial, your farm is your family's legacy and part of your hometown heritage. While you work sun up to sundown to get the job done, we're here protecting the things you love every step of the way. Country Financial, learn more at countrycrop.com.
For Jim Taylor, I'm Rita Frazier.
I'm DeLoss Yankee. Have a great day.